Now, when J.K. Rowling first dreamed up the malevolent Voldemort, aka Who Must Be Named, could she ever have predicted that fans of Harry Potter would use the famous moniker against her? Because in yet another senseless attempt to erase the women's rights activists, a prominent gaming forum has forbidden posts about Hogwarts Legacy, one of the most anticipated video games of the year, set in the Potterverse. A statement put out by Reset Era reads, Rowling is not only a bigot, but is actively pushing, in her position as a wealthy and famous individual, for legislation that will hurt trans people. There will be no discussion of this game. Thing is, number one, Rowling was not even involved in the game's production, but clearly that won't stop the hateful trans lobby trying to stifle her defence of women's rights. And this sinister movement has now been given a new term in Spiked Online, Rowling phobia. Well, to discuss exactly what's going on in this deranged campaign, I would say, against J.K. Rowling, I'm joined by her friend and fellow women's rights campaigner, Maya Forstater. Maya, this is so disturbing. I actually think the term Rowling phobia is justified now because the attacks coming towards J.K. day in, day out are so disturbing.
They really are. I mean, I think she can't be cancelled. Her books are selling. She's shown that she won't give in or shut up about this, and she won't be cancelled. And so I think what they're doing is trying to demonstrate and show to other people, this is what will happen to you if you're not J.K. Rowling.
Well, indeed.
It's just scare people into not speaking. You can't scare J.K. Rowling, but you can scare everybody else, or quite a large proportion of people.
Well, indeed, because we know, don't we, Maya, so many people, especially in the literary industries, the entertainment industries, the media industries, they share the views of you and Rowling, but they have been scared into silence because they've seen the campaign against JK.
Exactly. I mean, people who are just getting started in their career, or, obviously, almost no one is at the level that J.K. Rowling is. So many of them say, I just can't afford to put my head above the parapet on this. I'm frightened. I'm frightened of what will happen to me in my industry. But, some are also frightened about what their children or what their friends will say. But J.K. Rowling has, she's spoken up about this since 2019, when I first lost my case. She tweeted about it, and she's not shut up since, and she's not been wrong. She's called out the misogyny, and she's called out the medical malpractice. So the things that she was pointing out about the Tavistock have been shown to be true. The Tavistock clinic has been closed down, and the government's rethinking its whole approach to treating young people with gender issues. So, the things that J.K. Rowling was pointing out have been shown to be well-founded, but still they want to shut her down.
Indeed. And in Scotland, you've got this real battle now brewing between really the two most famous Scottish women in the world. Rowling on one side, Nicola Sturgeon, the First Minister, on the other side. But when you look at what's going on in Scotland today with a rapist, a rapist, and by the way, I don't even have to say a male rapist, because to be a rapist, by definition, you are a male. So this bloke, Adam Graham, sexually assaults two women. After he is arrested and charged, decides to transition to become Isla Bryson. And because of the madness of where the woke establishment is at, he currently tonight sits in a women's prison. So this is what you're up against, and this is what J.K. Rowling is fighting against, right?
Absolutely. If the Scottish government was thinking about women at all, this man, this rapist, would not be in a women's prison. And the newspapers, the media have all reported it as woman raped two women. This is not a woman. This is a man. As you say, you have to be a man to undertake rape. And he's not the only one who's in that prison. There is another prisoner convicted of child abuse in the women's prison. It's the most obscene policy.
Now, look, you've got to know J.K. Rowling over the past couple of years, and even though she's very much a biological woman, I think it's fair to say that metaphorically she has balls of steel. She's not giving in, is she? She's not going to end this campaign. The bullies and the threats of violence and the political attacks aren't going to stop her. She feels committed to this for life.
I think so, and she's given so much strength to so many women in Scotland and women across the UK and around the world who've seen her standing up and and speaking clearly and compassionate about this. It's not a culture war. She's talking about concerns about women's rights, about sport, about women's safety, and most of all about children and this pandemic of children thinking they were born in the wrong body. This is not something that happened on this scale a generation or two ago. It's been invented. The idea has been invented and spread through schools. So the number of people who say J.K. Rowling speaks for me as parents, as professionals, and as women concerned about women's rights, I think she's giving us all strength.
Indeed, and as she pointed out today, standing up for women's rights does not make you a far-right bigot. Maya Forstater on the really disturbing rise of Rowling phobia. Thank you so much, Maya.